you want to pull it up? Oop, it says we are being live streamed.
Yep. Hello. Welcome to Magic Monday.
Hey, everyone. I've got to stop this.
Welcome to Magic Monday. So you welcome.
There's your mocking yourself. There we go. Welcome to Magic Monday. All right, I want to bring it up on my phone too, but I'm so excited about today's topic.
Ah, such a good topic. Such
Amazing.
a good topic.
I know. I love it. I love it. So why don't you begin? I'm going to get us up on my phone.
Okay, yeah, we're just going to dive in here. We are talking about playing outside of the matrix today. And what brings us up is being asked multiple times. Well, there's a couple things it brings up, but one, being asked multiple times, like exactly what is it that you're doing to have the lives that you have, to be living the lives that you're having, to get the results that you're getting? What exactly is it that we're doing? Like, what is the process, right? What is the process? How do we continue to create magical and miraculous results, experiences, and lives? And it's called playing outside of the matrix. That's what we are doing, is playing outside of the matrix. And we want to invite you into how you can start doing this in your life. And we're going to give some great examples today of what it looks like to actually still be opting into the matrix versus choosing, using your sovereignty, your free will, your free choice to be a sovereign being and create your own miracles, be your own, almost like this, your own universe, your own economy, your just the generator of your life, right? So that you get to have what it is that you want to experience on a day-to-day basis. So that's what we're talking about today. It's going to go deep because it's very, now that we play so often, it is a recommitment over and over and over to continue to play outside of the matrix. It is easier to look back at when we were playing in the matrix, when we opted into the matrix, and exactly what got us out of it. Yeah. And now it's very easy to see on the outside when other people opt into the matrix, right? Mm-hmm. They default into the matrix. They, it's almost like they forego their own free will, free choice.
Yeah.
And they argue the limitation of the matrix. And so we're going to talk about how we can support you in coming out of the matrix and playing out here. It is so much more fun.
Yeah. And freedom. It is. And it's so important because we're going to talk about it too. Like, we consistently choose outside the matrix, And you and I were discussing this morning, there's a common phrase that people use when they're like outside the matrix and then they choose the matrix again. What is that common phrase? 2 words.
Yes, but.
That's when you know you're opting back into the matrix. Yes, but.
Yeah. And we have a couple of examples of this. And so last week I started putting, well, not I, but my woman on my team started putting my videos, my content that I do in my private Facebook group, old content that I mean, not old, but, a couple months ago, repurposing content that I've already done, videos that I've done in the last couple of months, breaking them up into little snippets and putting them on reels on Instagram, right? So one, it's being housed. I certainly want to see if they're, I want to be seen by people who are excited for the kind of work I do. And so I was really excited when I saw that a couple hundred people were watching my videos, right? I'm like, wow, that is amazing. I'm feeling really good. Then one of them hit a couple thousand. I'm like, all right, that's nice, but a little vulnerable, right? I'm feeling seen. At this point, I have 3 videos that have over 100,000 views. And
Yay!
yay! And a couple videos that have over 50,000 views. It's absolutely shocking. Did not expect it whatsoever. Really, I expected, a couple hundred, not hundreds of thousands. And here is something that I noticed. Well, before talking about that piece, I'm absolutely grateful for all of the likes. Hundreds of people have saved my stuff, shared it, liked it, saved for later. Those are great things on Instagram metrics and that sort of thing. So I'm uber grateful for that. And there's also this other side where there's like trolls, right? There's people out there that want to say something. And here's some of the common ones, which is easy to see people choosing into the matrix. One was, oh, you probably can only do that because you got child support. What's really fun is when I built this business, my 7-figure business, my child support decreased to a few $100s a month. A few $100s, right? Really started from the ground up. Literally living at mom's house, building this particular business. And so there's people on there, they're like, oh yeah, you could probably only do that because you got child support. Another one was, well, I really like what you're talking about, but that's easy for you because you're privileged. I have grown up in poverty and this and that. And what is very interesting are these assumptions of me, right? We started thinking, what is poverty? Because I grew up in low income house, not my whole childhood, but there was in my early formative years,
We lived in
low
there.
income apartments, right? That were subsidized, that helped low income people.
Megan, I paid $8 a month for our apartment for a few months. Exactly. And we were on food stamps and other welfare programs.
And so when I first saw that, I was like, interesting that I have this experience of living in low income apartments. And then after that, trailer parks and certainly not opulence, right? And yet I have never actually identified as that, right?
Exactly.
I've never been like, I grew up in poverty, right? Like it just was what it was, but it wasn't who I am. And so right there, I can see this person choosing the matrix. Oh, it's easy for Megan because, but for me, it's harder. And so I think sometimes it's great to share the rags to riches story, but it doesn't actually have to be rags to riches, right? Let's choose ease and grace. Like we could just have it nice and easy. But that is the fork in the road that many people are at, is it's hard to see what we consider reality, the matrix around us telling us one thing, and us choose a new story. And that is how we have unplugged from the matrix. And quite honestly, I think we've probably both been called crazy, delusional, irresponsible, illogical. Right?
Yeah, I was sharing with you a story because I hadn't really put that together either. Like when you work with a coach and they're like, define your story. Where did you come from? Like I never take into account, oh my gosh, like we lived in low income apartments. I never think about that. And then I remember even after that, going back to work at Starbucks, right? I had been in my business. I had 3 kids then, and it was like the real estate thing happened, and going back to work at Starbucks and still after a certain amount of time, I worked in a job for a little over a year. And then I got a refund, a tax refund of $4,000. And I had the two boys still home. And I was like, okay, I think I can get by on that $4,000 for 4 months while I rebuild my business. Now, okay, that is living outside the matrix, because everything inside the matrix, everyone who loved me was like, don't do that, Michelle. That is irresponsible. That is crazy. Don't do that. Right. And the fear in me was like, is it irresponsible? Do I, am I putting my kids in danger? Am I doing this wrong? It was scary, but also it was my heart. Right. And that was that choice. I was at a choice point where I was like, okay, I can make $4,000. I would rather live on $4,000 for 4 months doing what I love than living in the matrix, in that limitation, appearing to other people, being responsible.
And that is the fork in the road, right? So while oftentimes there's judgment about it, it takes a whole hell of a lot of courage to do such a thing. And when you do that over and over and over, you continue to follow the intuition, right? Because intuition is not plugged into matrix. Our humanness, our logic, plugged into the matrix, right? Our intuition is the language in which infinite intelligence is always talking to us. Definitely not plugged into the matrix. Is it like helping create this illusion? Sure, but it has all of the knowledge, right? The knowledge that this is just an experience. This is just a hologram. This is just a story. And you can make a new story, right? And so when we choose that, in that fork in the road moment, which so many of you are at, actually every day we are too, right? It becomes easier after you've done it multiple times to continue doing it. But those initial ones, right? That initial like breaking free from the matrix, I would say, is most challenging. Now, I don't think that we have to commit to things being hard, but that was a hard choice for you, Michelle, right? But here's the thing, both were fucking hard.
Yeah, exactly. Choose your word. Yes.
They're both a challenge. So it was a challenge for you to get up and go be in the rat race and live the 9 to 5 and just barely scrape by, but to be perceived a little more responsible. Yes. Right? Oh, look, you're fitting in. Very good. Way to play the role, way to take care of your children, way to be responsible. And then the other way of breaking out of the mold and having the judgment and having the ridicule and having the, oh shit, is this going to work? Is this money actually going to stretch? Is it going to last? Am I going to get the results to be able to not go back to work? Right? They were both hard.
Yes.
Both hard. One is activating a new story, or the other one is continuing to be enslaved by a story you know doesn't work for you. Yes. I especially hear this for moms, especially hear this when moms want to start their own business or they want to do anything, right? They want to follow their soul's calling. It is, yes, but my kids need me. Right?
Yes, but. Right? Yes, but I have responsibilities, right? Like my kids need my time. My kids need me to make a living, right? So there's that. And then if you're talking to a married woman, I've had this experience, right? But I have to ask my husband, right? I just bring that forward because anything can be your obstacle.
Right. Anything is the obstacle, right? It's yes, but I don't have enough money, or yes, but that's not a very smart thing for me to do, or yes, but my husband is the one that makes the money, right? It's all these things. Now, mine was also that when I initially said, okay, I definitely am not going to work a 9 to 5. I absolutely want this life of freedom and sovereignty, and I want to be a loving, present mom, right? So in one breath, it was almost like maybe I shouldn't take the risk, because what about my children? But now I look at the lives that my children live. Well, I might cry about it. That's how fucking good it is. That's how good of a life I provided for them. Because at a choice point, I chose me. I chose my intuition. I chose infinite intelligence. I didn't choose the matrix.
Yes.
And we're often at choice points, right? But as we move through octaves or up levels or soul evolution, and we have uncovered one layer, it gets less intense. It gets less intense.
For sure. And like so many people, like what stops them from living outside the matrix is money. Well, we have to make money. And that is something that you and I have both demonstrated so well. And I demonstrated, I didn't have the words to put to it years ago, but I believed that if I followed my soul, that I would be financially supported. And I was, and you came through. Or I am, not I was, but as a single mom, I was, and I still am today. And you came through and you were downloading, oh, if I just follow my soul, if I fulfill my soul's purpose, I don't need to think about money.
I have it on my board. My purpose is to live by faith, and I am always taken care of.
Yep. And we've both proven that. And it's true for everyone. And living outside the matrix makes that possible. It makes it possible because you're not living by the limitations that we've been programmed with.
Yeah, because inside the matrix, you have to earn it, you have to trade, you have to sacrifice. I am not living in earning, trading, or sacrificing.
And you have to compete.
Yeah.
Competition.
And there's competition instead of collaboration.
Yes. And so go ahead.
Oh, no. I like thought of something when I saw you breathe.
I know.
I go.
So that's where the mastery is in living. The mastery is in the details and recognizing where you are unconsciously, silently going, yes, but.
Yes, but. Right. So it's mastery is in the details. Right? Our mastery is in the details. It isn't, I was just talking with one of my clients this morning, that it isn't those big moments only, right? It isn't just that one decision to leave Starbucks with $4,000. It wasn't just that one decision that I was gonna be an entrepreneur as a young single mom of 2. It is the in between that decision and where we are here, where we are now. Right? Day to day moments, showing up as who I truly am, my highest self. So my highest self doesn't show up and go, oh, fuck, I don't have enough money. I'm really sick. What am I going to do? Now, when my humanness shows up that way, I process. I do the work to allow for me to hear again my higher self, which reminds me, live by faith. And you are always taken care of. Live your purpose and you're always taken care of. So it's every single day. It is, this one is my favorite right now. Michelle, you're gonna be able to relate, is how do I show up in relationships? Right? Yeah. This isn't only money. How I show up in relationship with my money is actually with my husband is actually how I show up in relationship with money. Yes, how we show up in relationships
is a microcosm of the macrocosm, because how you show up with your husband is how you show up with money, is how you show up with kids, is how you show up in relationship to the world, to the matrix. Who am I in this matrix? Well, in the matrix, you are small and powerless, and you're just in reaction mode, right? And when you choose mastery, you show up as the creator, as just as you show up as the creator of your marriage. Wow, if I show up as whole and complete and loving and open, that transforms the relationship, right? And it's the same with the matrix. It's absolutely just microcosm of the macrocosm, and learning to applying that in every area of your life.
The tiniest of details, right? And so, like, talking about the relationship, if me and my husband are in a disagreement, do I choose to be right, or do I choose compassion? Now, that's a really challenging one for me. Like, I kind of want to keep arguing just a little bit. Like, I'm okay with this dense energy here and this negativity, if at the end of it I can be right.
Which is competition.
Competition, there we go. Exactly. So if I want true collaboration in my life, it has to be in the tiniest of details. In that one conversation about groceries with my husband is actually going to propel me into the next level of financial, personal, emotional success. Yeah. Right? So it's in every tiny little detail. When I spend my money, do I have a moment of, do I have enough, or am I in, thank you, thank you, thank you, I get to spend this money, right? It's in these tiny detailed moments in each conversation, not just these big moments. These big moments these big moments are what adds up from all the little moments.
Yes. It's like, how do you have a blissful life? Well, have a blissful day. How do you have a blissful day? Have a blissful moment. Right? So it's really becoming conscious, intentional, awake, and aware in the moments.
And when you come to a yes, but moment, just stop with yes.
And keep moving forward. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So with all of that, I would love my request from anyone who is watching or catching the replay. I would love for you to go to my Instagram. Tori is going to put the link in the comments, and you will see some reels on there. And I would so appreciate if you went and left me a kind, loving comment. I have lots of likes and saves, but the comments are maybe not as friendly. Right? They are fighting for their limitations, that yes, you can do this, but so I would love for some of you who have experienced me, that know me, that enjoy me, to go leave a comment on one of my reels. I would just really truly appreciate that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And spread the love. I mean, that's the point, is spreading the love. Megan did not expect, you did not expect your videos to go viral. And you're sharing this morning that there's negative comments. And I'm like, well, that's just because the people who love you don't know that you're on Instagram, or don't know you're there. So jump in there and, let's love up on the light and the information that's available. And that supports Megan, but it also supports those that are going in and spending their time in the dense energies. It also gives them, like, Megan's not the only one out there living like this and experiencing, like, this is possible. This is truth with a capital T.
And it's just interesting that instead of finding inspiration, and this is choosing matrix, instead of finding inspiration, oh wait, as a single mom of 2 kids, when she was single, possible. She built this working 3 hours a day. That is fucking inspirational. No, instead they want to go, no, not possible. Must have been the child support, right? So that's how we choose. Oh, that can't actually be true. There must be a lie in here. There must be a flaw in here because she can't do that because I haven't been able to do it. So since I haven't done it, she's lying. Back to Matrix.
Right.
Instead of it allowing to, now who knows, maybe it did plant a seed, right?
Exactly.
That wait, that's possible.
Mhm.
But I would love for people to find inspiration in it, right? That's why I share this story, is because if I can do it, anybody can do it. And it's exactly what we described today. It's in the details. It is choosing your intuition when you want to say, yeah, I want that, but, and still going with the intuition.
Yeah.
And just a little teaser, we will be rolling out what we are calling mastery. And just a little teaser. I'm mocking myself again.
I wanted to read the comments, but then it made the sound come on. So rude.
We're going to be rolling out mastery, playing outside of the matrix, so that those of you who are like, okay, I see that this is possible and I want that, as opposed to she's lying, I don't want that. For those of you that are actually inspired, we are going to walk you through the process of how you play outside of the matrix, how you make those choices that feel impossible and bigger and beyond us. We're going to be walking you through that process in mastery, playing outside of the matrix.
I want to emphasize playing outside the matrix.
Yeah.
Playing. It is fun. So much fun.
We are doing a lot of playing these days.
Yes, we are.
Even my husband this morning said, wow, going to work doesn't even feel like going to work. This is just all a bunch of play. I'm like, I know, right? So we want to walk you through that process too, because it's fucking great and you deserve it. Absolutely everybody deserves to know this kind of freedom.
Yes.
And this kind of freedom doesn't come from money. This kind of freedom comes from sovereignty.
Mm-hmm. It's eliminating the yes buts. And now is such an important time, because if you look at the matrix, if you look at the news in the matrix and what everybody's talking about, they're giving so many reasons to yes but. And so it's a really amazing time. I see this as it is such it's an opportunity for humanity to let go of the yes buts and claim sovereignty. And so mastery is in the details, and it's playing outside the matrix. So we will be unrolling more of that as it comes, as we nail down when we're going to start and all of that, but we will keep you posted. Is that it? Because I have one thing to finish.
Oh, you finished then. Go ahead. Okay.
So happy Lionsgate. Today is Infinity Day. And no, it's not amazing, not even amazing that in this energy, we became aware of mastery, playing outside the matrix, right? It came through over the past few days, and like understanding, like really seeing it. And it's just like, you and I have been expanding. So it makes sense. And today is also the Lionsgate, my Lionsgate activation. And Tori will put the link below. If you haven't registered, you can still register. So you have amazing stuff to do. Go over to Megan's, our viral Megan. So proud of you. Your message is so good that it's capturing the attention, and give her some love in her Instagram. And, let's do Lionsgate noon in 1 hour, actually. So if you haven't registered, Tori will put that in there then, and we will see you. We've got so much excitement, so much to offer. Happy Monday.
See you Monday.
Bye, everyone.